Who came up with the idea to turn you heel, and what was the process behind it?
It kind of was interesting because I didn't see it coming. I remember Vince called me. I'm trying to remember what time, or probably maybe a month before WrestleMania of that year, maybe February. And he called me up and he goes, I want to turn you heel. And I remember I said, well, I don't want to turn heel. And because I was actually making a lot of money off my royalties off T-shirts and dolls and all the stuff they were selling. So it would have been a big cut in my income to give all that up and turn heel. And I remember he called me. He goes, give me 5 minutes, and I'll talk you into it. And I was so dead against it. I said, okay, I'll give you 5 minutes to talk me into it. And I was somewhere else, like on the other part of America. I think it was in Texas or something. And I had to go to New Haven, Connecticut, I believe is where it was. It might have been Springfield, Massachusetts. But anyway, he said, I'll meet you at the building. So Vince actually drove all the way up to the venue where we were having a live show that night. And he met me in a little room, talked to me for 5 minutes and talked me into this. But he said to me, you're only going to be a heel in America. He goes, I want you to stay. You're going to be a babyface in Canada. You'll be a babyface everywhere else. Everywhere else, especially in Europe, which is one of my biggest concerns. I said I got that time, I think, and I don't know if anyone ever topped me, but I was probably the biggest star they ever had over here. And I said, I don't really want to lose my European audience. And he said, we don't either. We're making a lot of money off your merchandise and everything too. So you're only going to be a bad guy in the States. And he goes, everybody hates Americans. And he played up this whole thing, and he goes, basically, you're going to be able to turn heel, but it's not going to affect your merchandising, your marketing, and all that. You're still going to be basically a good guy, but you're just going to be a bad guy to Americans in America. And I thought, okay, I'll do it. And I remember thinking, this is the most important thing he told me. He said, he gave me a list. This is what solved everything for both of us. He gave me this list. He goes, these are the guys you're going to work with if you're a babyface. And the list was pretty flat. Like it was Vader, and I remember Vader. And I'd wrestled Vader so many times that I didn't want to wrestle Vader anymore. But Vader was the big option. There was a handful of other wrestlers, and the ones that he named are ones I probably already wrestled enough times where it was like, and then he had the heel. If I turned heel, here's all the guys you get to work with. And it was Undertaker, Shawn, Steve Austin. It was such a better list. And I was like, that was really the deciding factor of that, and the merchandising aspect. I remember it was like, as soon as I saw the list for as a babyface and seeing Vader at number 1 on the list, was like, I'm in. Wrestling Vader, I always like to say, was like kind of like wrestling a cement truck filled with barf. It was really, Vader, Leon. As much as I liked Leon, he never washed his gear much, and I learned that on the road, wrestlers can't wash their stuff, especially for a long series. And I always learned you take your gear out after your matches when you get to the hotel room, and you hang it all over the lights on the lamps and stuff. And the heat from the lamps will dry it all out. And at least your stuff's dry the next day. But Leon, I remember talking to him in the dressing room the next day, his stuff was still sopping wet with sweat. And he was tough to work with in that regard. And not to mention that his punches were like totally real. And so, I saw that Vader as like my primary guy as a baby face, and I was happy to turn heel.